Welcome po dito sa programang Cariana Lay Monastic Community ni Father Odon de Castro. Ang Cariana Lay Monastic Community can be likened to a small paradise of God. Sister Tachi?
So what should we be talking about, Father?
We have been talking about the confusion in the Catholic Church, and we are trying to fix the confusion in the Catholic Church so that most of the Catholics will not be confused in their observance of the Catholic faith. And we began to point what is the cause of the confusion. The main cause of the confusion is that the teachers of the Catholic faith, which is the bishops and the priests, are not teaching the perfect teachings of Jesus Christ or the perfect teaching of the Catholic Church. And we began to give some examples of their wrong teachings of the bishops. And today we're going to talk about one of the cause of the great confusion that is taking place in the Catholic Church today, in the hope that it will fix whatever confusion is in our minds.
So you would say, Father, that by speaking about it, at least maybe, hopefully, those who are committing the mistake might realize that they are committing a mistake?
Yes, in the sense that if we are trying to give the clarifications in the confusion, so people will begin to understand what really is going on in the Catholic Church.
So, Father, if the ones who are causing the confusion do not realize, at least the people who are listening to us will start thinking, are they saying the right thing or not? That would be a great help.
That's right. We're hoping that everybody will be clarified so that we are not confused, because we are talking about how to go to heaven, how to save our souls. And if you're confused, we might not end going to heaven.
Yeah. Okay, Father.
This confusion, Father, about the teaching of the Church today, that would lead some members to shy away and join another kind of group.
Well, definitely, yeah. They're going to join other sects. And therefore, this is in fact the reason why the Catholic Church is losing so much of her members, because if you will notice, all the members of the Protestant sect are ex-Catholics.
That's right.
There is a call from a radio station telling people to donate something so that they can use it for the people who left the Catholic Church, to bring back the old faith, the true faith of the Catholic Church.
You mean sorry, Father.
Yeah, that seems to be a good program, but the way you describe it is not going to help at all. It will not prevent people from leaving the Catholic Church, because you have to define properly what is it to make an act of faith. And one of the confusion is precisely the definition of faith and how to attain faith.
So you would say, Father, like Lodi was saying, I didn't understand it, Lodi. That means to say that you're going to use funds to evangelize? Is that what it was going to do?
That's what Brother Lodi
Isn't that
said.
what's the
Sort of.
They
need funds to re-evangelize Catholics.
So what you're saying, Father, is that's not the way.
Yeah, well, raising of funds is not going to convert anybody.
I don't think so either.
Because Christ had precisely taught us how to convert, how to preach, and how to spread the good news.
In a simple language, Father, simple idea, how do you convince or how do you convert those who doesn't believe, those who doesn't have faith in the Catholic faith?
Well, Christ had already expressed how it is done in the last chapter of St. Matthew, called the Apostolic Commission. So he gave 4 steps on how to save souls, how to convert souls, how to bring them to the Catholic Church. In general, first, in order to save your soul, you have to know 2 things. 2 things.
Yes.
This is in general, like you were asking to present it to you in clear, simple words. The first thing you must do is to know how the Catholic Church look like. You have to know. Because if you don't know how the Catholic Church look like, how can you enter it? Diba? So you have to know exactly how the Catholic Church is. But if you notice, in Vatican II, which is just the completed council, ecumenical council, the constitution on the Catholic Church, the description of the Catholic Church in the document is not complete. It is not complete because the fathers of the ecumenical council were not able to describe the Catholic Church. Now, why would it happen that they cannot describe the Catholic Church so that the constitution called ecclesiology is not complete? Well, evidently because they themselves do not know how the Catholic Church look like.
For ordinary people, looking at the Catholic Church seemingly not very, very clear. How can you make the Catholic faith very clear to ordinary people?
It can be clearly described in the Nicene Creed, which we recite every Sunday after the Gospel and after the homily, where we say that the Catholic Church is one, holy, Catholic, and apostolic. Now, in those 4 visible signs given to us by the Nicene Creed, you have to start from the last, apostolic, then go backward, apostolic, then Catholic, and then holy, and then one.
Why apostolic must be the first to understand?
Yeah, because you have to first learn the teaching of the apostles.
Yes.
That's why it's called apostolic. You have to learn the teaching of the apostles. Now, one of the defects we have today, that's why Catholics are very confused, is because many do not know the teaching of the apostles. They consider it very old teachings. They prefer modern teachings. And therefore, the apostolic teaching is not being taught. And therefore, people are not becoming apostolic, which is the first step in becoming Catholic.
I mean, they say that the basis of their belief is not based on the apostolic teaching.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Sister?
No, so that doesn't make them Catholic.
It does. The moment you do not begin with the 4th visible sign, which is apostolic, you cannot have the 3rd, which is Catholic. Then you cannot have the 2nd, which is holy, and you cannot have the 1st, which is one.
But all the first 3 are based on the 4th one, right, Father?
It's not like that.
Not like that at all. Okay, how is it, Father?
All the 4 are based on the 1st.
Okay.
But when you develop it, you start with the last.
So I see. Okay, that's clear, Father. So the last has to be known,
Yeah.
and then you move on.
And that is the biggest problem now we have, which is confusing the Catholics. That if you look for the Catholic Church, which is one holy Catholic apostolic, you cannot find it.
Why?
You cannot find it in the diocese. You cannot find a diocese that is one holy Catholic apostolic. You cannot find a parish that is one holy Catholic apostolic. You cannot find families who are one holy Catholic and apostolic. And that's a big problem.
Bakit po nagkaganon?
Well, precisely because the bishops and the priests do not know how to make people Catholics. They do not know how.
And that's a big problem, Father.
Oh, it's a spectacular problem, really.
Disastrous. So one holy Catholic, apostolic.
Yeah.
You lack one, you lack all. Would you say that? No. You lack one, you're not Catholic.
Well, if
You're not in the Catholic Church, let's put it that way.
you lack the fourth, you don't have all the
Oh,
rest.
that's what I was thinking of, Father. So,
You cannot have the first and then say
and the fourth, no,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
you cannot have the first and doesn't have the three.
Yeah, it's
No,
nothing.
cannot be
So,
done,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so in other words, if we check ourselves, we could find that we're not in the Catholic Church at all.
Yeah, and this is the big issue that is presented to us by a priest called Waynandi, who is a theologian. This is the theologian advisor to the Catholic Bishops' Conference.
Catholic Bishops' Conference in all
US.
over the world.
No, US only.
US only, okay, fine.
Okay. He's a theologian, Catholic
Okay,
theologian, who presented the fact that that is the biggest problem in the Catholic Church today. And anybody can check it. You, our listeners, any priest, any bishop can check it. Because the four signs are described as four visible signs. So you can see it. Visible. You can see it. You can sense it. So God made it visible precisely so that anybody, including the pagans, can find out where is the church. I mean, Christ wants us to enter the church. How can we enter the church if we cannot see it?
How can we enter the Catholic Church without understanding the teaching of the apostles, where the apostles got it from our Lord Jesus Christ's teaching?
And here is the big problem now that we are having today, and which we will discuss at a lengthily,
Okay.
several programs. And this is what you call the dubia,
Dubia.
spelled D-U-B-I-A,
Meaning po?
doubts.
Oh, duda.
Doubts, yeah, dubia. Because our primary teacher of the Catholic faith is the Pope.
Opo.
What if we have the wrong Pope? Or a bad Pope? Or a fake Pope? Or what if you do not know who is the real Pope?
Big problem.
You're a big problem.
There will be great confusion.
Exactly, great confusion.
Father, last minute po, sa next broadcast po ng Cariana Lay Monastic Community with Father Rodon de Castro, he will continue discussing this problem about the church today. Thank you so much, and we'll be back.
Hosanna, Hosanna.